faithfully delivering value, interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a book called The Lizard Brain Rules, with the subtitle 7 Secrets to Easily Persuade Anyone. There are two different thinking systems in the human brain. One is the conscious, rational thinking system, also known as the rational brain. When we engage in deep thinking, we use the rational brain. The other thinking system is the unconscious automatic system. The part of our brain responsible for unconscious thinking is similar to that of lower vertebrates like lizards, so it's called the lizard brain. Both thinking systems are active when a person is awake, each performing its own duties. The lizard brain controls the body mechanisms that sustain human survival, such as blood circulation, respiration, and the digestive system. It is also responsible for converting the vast amount of sensory information into something the brain can understand. For example, when a ball flies toward you, your eyes send the collected information to the lizard brain. The lizard brain quickly judges there's danger and immediately directs your body to dodge the ball. Whereas the rational brain mainly handles activities that aren't yet familiar and require focused attention, like dieting, solving math problems, or contemplating life. Many people think the rational brain should dominate decision-making, since most choices seem carefully considered. But actually, scientific research shows the lizard brain dominates most human decisions, even life or death ones. So the best way to persuade others is to learn how to talk to their lizard brain. The author, Jim Cummings, holds a Ph.D. in sociology from the University of Chicago, is a mass communication professor at Northwestern University, and served as chief strategy officer at renowned ad agency DDB, with deep insights into human decision-making. Jim Cummings uses recent breakthroughs in brain science to reveal how the lizard brain operates and the 7 secrets to persuading others through it. This persuasion strategy has been used by world-famous brands like Volkswagen, Porsche, McDonald's, and Pepsi with great success. The Lizard Brain Rules is about 150,000 words long. Next, I'll explain the book through 3 key aspects. First, what exactly is the lizard brain and what are its characteristics? Second, why does the lizard brain dominate human decision-making? Third, how should we apply the lizard brain rules to persuade others? All right, let's start with the first aspect. What is the lizard brain? What are its characteristics? The lizard brain is a brain thinking mode that operates spontaneously and unconsciously, without much thought. It has 5 main characteristics. The first one is called mental salience. Simply put, the lizard brain likes things that are easy to recall. Psychologists have found that whether it's words or images, just seeing them once makes people develop a positive feeling towards them. This feeling is very subtle, and sometimes we don't even realize it. Now, for example, when voting, we tend to choose people whose names are more familiar. Whether we actually know the person or not, when shopping, we also choose brands we recognize, regardless of whether we know the actual quality of the brand. For instance, the lizard brain doesn't think. For it, things that are most easily received by the brain are real. The second characteristic of the lizard brain is that it has a powerful associative mechanism, and this association is something we can't control. Sometimes a single word, a sentence, or an image can trigger your memories or evoke certain feelings and ideas, and one idea can lead to more ideas. For example, just mentioning Hainan makes your brain conjure up images of blue sky, white clouds, and the sea. Mentioning Inner Mongolia makes you think of vast grasslands. This kind of subconscious association is actually the lizard brain at work. The third characteristic of the lizard brain is that it focuses on behavior rather than motives. That is to say, regardless of a person's true inner thoughts, as long as their outward behavior is good, the lizard brain will believe it's true. There's an example in the book. An oil company that doesn't care about environmental protection at all will donate money to environmental organizations. express ideas about energy saving in ads, and paint its gas stations green. These actions make people believe it cares about the environment. The fourth characteristic is that it's easily influenced by emotions. In psychology, there's a concept called emotional intuition. It means that if we like something, we think it's perfect. If we dislike something, we think it's worthless. Well, under the influence of emotional intuition, our view of the world is actually quite biased. A classic example is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When we're in the heat of passion, we often feel the other person is perfect in every way, with no flaws at all. But after the honeymoon phase, we often find some flaws and start seeing them in a negative light no matter what. The fifth characteristic of the lizard brain is that it's easily influenced by others' preferences. The unconscious automatic system relies on others' preferences to make decisions, even using their standards to evaluate our own choices. Simply put, it's bandwagoning. What others like, we like. For example, with popular influencer products, many people buy them impulsively without knowing the quality, just because friends are using them or many online recommend them. Saying this, many have realized that the lizard brain is like a child, impulsive, capricious, and not rational at all. But why can such a thinking system determine most human decisions? That brings us to the second key point we'll discuss next. Why does the lizard brain dominate human decision-making? This is mainly due to the lizard brain's powerful information processing ability, which is evident in two main aspects. First, the lizard brain operates faster than the rational brain. Research shows that the conscious rational thinking system in the human brain can process about 40 bytes of information per second, whereas the unconscious automatic thinking system, the lizard brain, can process 11 million bytes per second. The lizard brain can handle multiple tasks simultaneously and operates automatically without rest. For example, when we sleep, our respiratory, digestive, and circulatory systems function normally. Whether you like it or not, the lizard brain never stops, while the rational brain goes dormant when not activated. It's precisely this powerful processing ability that allows the lizard brain to filter incoming information to the brain. In other words, information we receive from the outside world first goes to the lizard brain, which then decides what to ignore and what to pass to the rational brain for analysis, meaning much information never reaches the conscious level. Psychologists at Northwestern University conducted an experiment where researchers showed subjects some pictures and had them rate them on a scale from positive to negative, with higher scores indicating better feelings. But before showing these pictures, the staff would quickly flash fearful or happy expressions without the subject's knowledge. The display time was only about 0.03 seconds. In such a short time, these expressions of fear or happiness simply couldn't enter the subject's conscious awareness. The results showed that those who saw happy expressions gave higher ratings. In other words, the lizard brain saw the fleeting expression in 0.03 seconds, understood its meaning, and passed it to the rational brain. Even though the rational brain had no idea what happened and didn't analyze it, it was still influenced. The rational brain only kicks in when the lizard brain encounters a problem it can't handle. For example, if someone asks you what 1 plus 1 equals, the answer immediately pops into your head. 2. That's the rational brain at work. But if someone asks you what 27 times 48 is, you can't answer immediately because you have to concentrate to calculate, and the lizard brain can't handle such complex problems. So it hands the task over to the rational brain. Because the rational brain deals with relatively complex problems, it can't stay active long-term without exhausting the brain. So usually it's the lizard brain working, and only when necessary does it call on the rational brain. This is why most human decisions are made by the lizard brain. Therefore, to successfully persuade others, we must learn to talk to the lizard brain. So how should we do it? This brings us to the book's third key point. How should we converse with the lizard brain to persuade others? And the author introduces 7 secrets that can be used simultaneously or individually or combined for different situations. Next, we'll discuss them in detail. The first secret is to increase familiarity through unique style and repeated exposure. We mentioned earlier that the lizard brain likes familiar and impressive things, and it has a powerful associative mechanism. So by leveraging these 2 points, we can influence people's decisions. A classic example is branding. Every company designs a unique slogan at launch and invests heavily each year in distinctive, vivid ads to deepen brand impressions. For example, the internationally renowned brand L'Oréal Paris has a famous slogan, "Because you're worth it." For years, L'Oréal Paris has maintained a marketing strategy of finding global celebrities as spokespeople, using them to build a luxurious brand image with that "because you're worth it" message. This phrase has been deeply imprinted in people's minds. There's another approach that's even more straightforward. Many companies directly subsidize users to encourage product usage, all to increase familiarity with their offerings. For instance, ride-hailing platforms use subsidies to invite users to try their services. In the past, everyone stood roadside waving for taxis. Now, when thinking about transportation, many people's first instinct is app-based rides. This is businesses talking to users' lizard brains, because the lizard brain prioritizes easily recalled things and favors familiarity. This method works in daily life too. If you want a promotion or raise, become the person your boss thinks of first. For example, wear distinctive clothes, make your workspace visible, sit near the boss in meetings, speak up more. These details deepen your impression. The second persuasion secret is changing behavior, not attitude. Many believe persuasion requires changing attitudes, that people must genuinely accept your view to act accordingly. But the author argues changing behavior can shift attitudes. Social psychology shows cognitive dissonance. When attitudes and behaviors clash, people rationalize their actions. Like buying something you dislike, then growing to appreciate it post-purchase. This is us rationalizing the buying decision. So how do we change someone's behavior? Alter their environment? For example, to encourage family weight loss, hide sweets rather than lecture about health risks. Well, when he's hungry, if he finds only fruit around, he'll likely choose to eat it. Though he still dislikes fruit, the environment changes his behavior. Additionally, to change someone's behavior, you can first secure their commitment. Psychologist Jim Sherman from Indiana University once conducted an experiment. He called Indiana residents, inviting them to donate 3 hours to American Cancer Society fundraising. Boston, about 1/3 agreed. Days later, when ACS recruited, nearly all Promise Keepers attended, 7 times more than those who refused. Another method is having people take a small step first. Once they act, attitudes follow. Microsoft used this strategy. Instead of convincing people about product quality, they invited free trials of Windows products or free upgrades. This didn't directly profit Microsoft, but increased purchases of other products and reduced Apple laptop selection. When applying these, the author suggests breaking target behavior into intermediate steps. Then act on these intermediate behaviors. For example, to persuade quitting smoking, analyze all steps before lighting a cigarette. First, buying packs, finding smoking spots, taking out the box, opening it, extracting a cigarette, and lighting. Each action is an intermediate behavior. Find intervention points like preventing smokers from shopping to reduce store visits. At home, store cigarettes inconveniently, or place gum on packs to offer alternatives when reaching for a smoke. Next, the third secret. Don't change desires, help fulfill them. In other words, don't make others cooperate with us. Turn your suggestion into an irresistible reward. For example, when car shopping, men seek thrills while women pursue safety. So to sell to men, highlight the exciting experiences this car delivers. To sell to women, emphasize the vehicle's safety features. If I'm sure about others' desires, focus on universal wants like health, wealth, happiness, etc. Also note rewards should be immediate and guaranteed. Immediacy means showing immediate benefits from following you. Like persuading energy bulb use. Don't explain yearly savings. Say they'll immediately save 3/4 on electricity.
Certainty means the reward must be guaranteed, not just possible.
The fourth secret is developing insight to understand true motives behind actions. Often people themselves don't know why they act certain ways. As an observer, independently analyze their true motives. Ask persuaded people what actually changed them. List most likely successful reasons, but avoid asking why they chose. Instead, probe opinions on details to uncover real motives. For instance, during cheese promotion research, some housewives used cheese frequently, while others rarely did. He didn't directly ask why they used cheese. Answers could mislead, because customers often don't know their true buying reasons. So he asked detailed opinions: nutrition, calories, price, taste, etc. Results showed similar views on nutrition, taste, and price. What truly determined usage frequency was the number of cheese-inclusive recipes, meaning housewives rarely used cheese because they didn't know how to cook with it. So, the ad team suggested to the American Dairy Association, provide housewives with easy-to-learn recipes and keep promoting how adding cheese makes broccoli vanish off plates or peas get rave reviews. Eventually, as simple cheese recipes spread, more people started using cheese more often. The fifth secret to persuading others is focusing on feelings, not logic. As we said earlier, the lizard brain is easily swayed by emotions. When persuading, emotional satisfaction often wins over reasoning. For example, to persuade your hubby to quit drinking, skip the lectures, have your kid give him a card saying, "I love you, Dad, stay healthy, to be with me." Connecting with the lizard brain through feelings persuades way easier than logic. So how do we do this? The book suggests using proxy images. Basically, feelings often depend on actions. To know ice cream's taste, you gotta taste it yourself. But some feelings don't need action. Like wearing Nikes, you feel energetic instantly, even without exercising or planning to. This feeling isn't from real experience because you think Nike wearers are all energetic folks. These Nike wearers are the proxy images. Proxy images are effective persuasion tools. If proxy images are appealing enough, people will act alike to join the group. Westin Hotel is a prime example. When picking hotels, folks consider factors like convenience, comfy beds, clean rooms, friendly staff, and nearby amenities. Westin's hardly different from competitors in these areas. Well, but it became business travelers' top choice using proxy images. After chatting with business travelers, Westin's team found they want to be seen as savvy professionals. So, Westin positioned itself in ads as the top choice for mature business professionals. Through this method, they constantly instill in customers the idea that Westin guests are mature business professionals. As a result, this marketing strategy was hugely successful, and hotel bookings surged immediately. Next, let's discuss the sixth secret of persuading others using the lizard brain: leveraging expectations to enhance real experiences. A pediatrician at Stanford's Disease Prevention Research Center once conducted an experiment offering children two identical food groups, one labeled with McDonald's branding, and even though the foods were identical, the kids still preferred the one with the McDonald's label.
So, to persuade others, we can first increase their positive expectations about the target behavior.
For example, to make people feel carrots are truly tasty, we should first boost their fondness for carrots. So, how do we increase that fondness? Actually, it circles back to our first secret: increase familiarity through unique style and repeated exposure. All right, now let's cover the seventh and final persuasion secret: mastering communication skills. Here, we'll introduce three small techniques. The first is to say what others want to hear, not what you want to say. In the past, most people focused on packaging their own language when persuading. They assumed that as long as their words sounded appealing, the other person would be persuaded. But actually, a better persuasion strategy is to say what others want to hear. In 2014, the Obama administration launched a public service campaign urging people to join the anti-sexual assault movement. In this campaign's promo video, many people sullenly shouted, "Let's take action," which became a classic failure case. Teenagers hated it because the video only said what it wanted to say, completely ignoring what young people wanted to hear. If we shift angles, first understand young people's expectations, then encourage them to join the anti-assault cause, the effect would be better. For example, invite a tough guy star like Sylvester Stallone to tell young people, "Real men don't do that," making folks more likely to join the effort. The second small technique is to leave room in your speech, which stimulates more imagination in the listener. For example, at a party, if you tell someone, "I have to drive," most people understand you can't drink. Driving under influence risks penalties and danger. If they don't understand, you can explain further. But if you spell out every detail up front, people feel you're nagging and insulting their intelligence. So the better approach is letting listeners ponder and reach their own conclusions. Apple once ran a series called Think Different, print ads featuring pioneering historical figures and silhouettes with their logo and tagline. Ooh. These ads grabbed attention with intriguing figures but minimal details, no dialogue, letting viewers mentally connect them to Apple products. The third communication trick is using rhetoric, adding flair to everyday language. Research shows some complexity boosts enjoyment and success rates. Persuasion odds. Rhetoric achieves this through tweaks in rhyme, rhythm, or word order. Like, "Stop sitting still before it stops you permanently." Or use puns and metaphors. Take zinc gluconate oral solutions ad. Smart moms use zinc, where zinc is a pun. Sounds like heart in Chinese. Some brands deliberately use absurd claims, letting consumers mentally correct them. Like a paint brand claiming global coverage, we know Earth isn't literally painted. But you instantly grasp they mean universal usability. Rhetoric poses riddles, solving them brings joy and deeper understanding. Well, that covers most of the lizard brain rules. Let's recap the book's key points. The lizard brain is a spontaneous, unconscious thinking mode with 5 traits: mental salience, powerful associative mechanisms, focus on behavior over motives, susceptibility to emotions, and being swayed by others' preferences. Due to its powerful processing ability, the lizard brain usually handles daily tasks. Only when facing unsolvable problems does it activate the rational brain. Thus, most human decisions stem from the lizard brain, and there are 7 secrets to leverage it for persuasion. First, increase familiarity by leveraging mental salience and associative mechanisms through unique styles and repeated exposure. Second, change others' behavior, not their attitudes. Third, fulfill others' desires instead of altering them. Fourth, cultivate insight to uncover true motives behind actions. Fifth, prioritize feelings over logic. Sixth, enhance real experiences through expectations. Seventh, master communication skills. So, the lizard brain rules. That concludes our interpretation. Find reading notes below the audio. See you tomorrow.